Good evening. Wait a minute. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday, but today's Thursday.
Yeah, this is not working. The
F
whole spiel is not
snow,
working.
man. F the snow. We're coming to you live from New
You
York
don't F the
City,
snow. The snow Fs you, young
talkradio.nyc. My name is Michael Dolce. This is the Lord of the Radio, Hassan Godwin. And we are Secrets of the Sire.
Wednesday. I mean, it's Thursday.
Yeah, that's always the problem, right? We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture every week.
Every
rain or shine. Mostly on
not
Wednesday
really.
night. Mostly on Wednesday night, 8
Not
p.m.
really.
Eastern. Did you lose power?
Huh? No. Where I live, we never really lose power.
Yeah,
People lose their minds, though. There's a lot of lost minds and people freaking out.
And
People
with
running through the park.
Yeah, and with
murders,
good reason, right?
beheadings, stuff like that. But
Well, they gotta get the milk and the bread.
That's
that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Always get the milk and the bread. We got a great show. We actually had a great show planned for you last night, but then Mother Nature moved us to this. Again, if you're listening to this on the podcast,
she put us on notice.
if you're listening to this on the podcast, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Because, you can listen to us anytime, which you should, on iTunes, iHeartRadio, all
You
that
could be
fun
listening
stuff.
to this like 20 years from now. We're both dead. And
This is very
you're
true,
listening to
actually.
it for the first time. Like,
Wait,
hey.
you only give us 20 years?
Well, you know.
That's it?
It's a rough world, man.
That's it?
It's a tough old world.
Not easy. Not easy.
Come on, 20 years would be a good run.
Maybe. All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. We are actually, we were going to do our little post-Oscars show.
Yeah.
But no.
But as usual, Mr. Dolce had another idea.
No. It has
he
nothing to
likes
do with
to do.
another idea. Honestly, I would have talked about it if it was Wednesday, but now it's like Thursday. It's like, Jesus, we're
It's just a day. Nobody was paying attention yesterday because everybody was either losing power or losing their minds. You know?
Right, exactly.
Oh my God, it's precipitation falling from the sky. Can you believe it?
But with good reason. I mean, it's not an...
It was ugly. It was very ugly. From my window, I could see it was ugly. I wasn't outside.
You weren't outside?
No, not even once.
That's a good way to do it. We got Josh Blaylock from Devil's Due. He's going to be
we?
joining us today, which is pretty exciting as well, too, because they just, they just launched like a new line of comics, but they've always been doing comics. So I'm really curious what the new line is,
Okay.
what the hubbub is.
We're going to get
as they
answers
say.
to that question today.
Well, we're going to ask it.
Well, okay. We're going to try to get answers.
I mean, let's be honest. We're going to ask it.
We're going to make an honest effort to get that
That
answer.
doesn't mean that we're gonna. And we are going to talk. The new big thing, though, is that this is International Women's Day.
Yes, it is.
And the big release.
Hello to all the women's out there.
Marvel, Netflix, Jessica Jones.
Yes, they did it specifically to land on International Women's Day.
So,
which is very strange because Jessica Jones, I don't know how much of a role model she is for young.
You don't think so?
It's not for me to say. But she's kind of, she's kind of self-hating and...
she's a role model for you.
Well, yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, sans the addicted to alcohol thing, which I am not, luckily. Not yet.
That we know of. Yeah. We don't know what you do.
I don't show up to work drunk, and that's all that matters.
We don't know what you do when you go home, right?
You're not supposed to. If you did, that'd be a little creepy.
Well, I got cameras there, too. What do you want?
I knew it. Things were just a little strange.
Things were just a little,
Just a little strange.
A little too much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, we're going to talk Jessica Jones. But here's what I wanted to kick off the show with. And I love that we fought through all the technical difficulties. And
no, you did. I
was
was just kind of wingmanning it.
Well, that's what you do. So I caught the new issue of Entertainment Weekly. This actually came out last week.
Did you catch it? Someone threw it at you?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
I literally did.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Good catch.
No, it was a poor catch. And the cover is Westworld, which is awesome. Westworld is coming back next month. Really excited.
Is it next month? That soon? Wow. Yeah. Everything's just happening.
Yeah.
Like just.
So how does this have to do
really
with
fast.
Jessica Jones? So here's how it has to do with it, right?
Oh, that was my line, right? That was supposed to set that.
No. You don't have to set anything.
All right.
Thumbing through it, and I see. Okay, and then they have a story of A Wrinkle in Time.
Were you on the toilet?
Okay, they're talking about Wrinkle in Time. That's good. The cover, meanwhile, like I said, it was Westworld, but it had Evan Rachel Wood, and it had who's the prostitute that gained like the superhuman strength in Westworld. I forget the actress's name.
Oh,
but it's the
Thandie
two of
Newton?
them. Yeah, Thandie Newton. Thandie Newton and Rachel Wood. They're on the cover.
You didn't want to say the black one.
I didn't. I avoided that because I'm going to say something very controversial.
So
I let me at least hedge my controversies before we kind of get into it.
I want to spend all our controversy minutes in one go. I got you.
And then I'm thumbing through it, and we got Jessica Jones feature, and they give us a little insight into episode 2. Basically, looking through this entire magazine, and it's The Good Wife, and I'm thinking to myself, it's all women features.
Right.
There's not a single. Would you say Ed Harris has a huge role in Westworld?
Yeah.
He's relegated to one photo.
Really?
And not even
really... Well, maybe season 2, maybe he's not that significant.
No, because if you read the article, we're going to learn a lot more about him.
Oh, okay.
No spoilers here, but we're going to, so he was a part of the article.
Oh, okay.
But no, I mean, really, like, one photo. James Marsden...
you were sitting there, was like, hey, this magazine's full of chicks.
Yeah. Came across one other thing. Their hot 10 list is pretty much nothing but women-featured things. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's 2 ways to think about it, right? One is, hey, this is pretty cool, right?
Because there's nothing but women.
And another part of it was just very curious. And then reading this piece on Annihilation, that's the new Natalie Portman movie.
Right.
Natalie Portman, I read about this movie. All 4 of the actresses, it's basically, what's his name from, who plays Poe? Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac from Star Wars.
Yes.
He's the main male character. He basically is in a coma the entire movie.
Wow. It's kind of like...
No, he literally is in a coma. That's like Sam's kind of laughing.
Like Oscar Isaac's career, basically. Actually, I don't disparage him. I like him a lot.
And it stars Natalie Portman and 3 other strong female women, and they go in and they have to save the day. So it's basically 4 women action heroes.
Okay.
But I read about this, a week earlier, and all 4 of them and the director are all downplaying the fact that this is 4 women leads in roles that may typically go to men. Okay. And they want it that way because they say, you know what? If we're 4 humans going in and doing this, I'm thinking to myself, that's the right attitude. That's exactly what... If the quest for feminism, if the quest for diversity, if the quest for all of this, gay marriage, anything, right? Anything that's controversial, right? If the ultimate goal of said quest is to become normal, right? Is normalcy? I don't mean normal in that, no. You know what I'm saying? Normalcy, right? Like this is not a big deal. That this is a
normalized.
Okay, maybe that's it. Yeah. Okay. Right. Don't. Yeah. See, I earned my controversies. It's good. If it's to become normalized, right? If that's the end game,
right?
Why is every single thing trumpeted? If you read through this magazine, if you look online, if you look through Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, it's everything. Look how great it is. We're breaking this new ground. Look how amazing this is. Look how great this is. And Annihilation is saying, we're just human beings. All right? We're 4 human beings, and that's what makes it awesome. But meanwhile, if you read the feature, Entertainment Weekly goes out of their way to say, okay, if they're not going to say it, this is quote, if they're not going to say it, we will. These 4 women will blow you away. This is essentially the entire tone. That's the actual quote. The tone of the write-up is, it's groundbreaking that 4, they say it, and they say it in other movies too. Well, they may not say it, but we're going to say it for them. Are we being sold something? Are we basically, and with Jessica Jones too, and I'll read a review in a little bit after I get your reaction to this, are we being sold a movement rather than experiencing a movement? Like, isn't the point of the movement to, again, attain this normalized endgame?
Who wrote the article? Was it a man or a woman?
It's a write-up, so I'd have to ask that too. That's a good question. I don't know. That's a very good question.
Most people behind the marketing, okay, and here comes my controversy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the only one.
Are usually white men doing the marketing.
Like the Get Out white men?
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Like, are they?
I don't know what kind of white men they are. I just know they're usually the white guys, and that's how they kind of sell this stuff. That's how they look at it. Oh, right. Check this out. This movie's full of chicks, and this is a selling point because we don't really have another movie full of chicks except for the last movie we did that was full of chicks. Sell it that way.
Right.
Sell it to the chicks.
Right.
Say it's full of chicks, and that's how they do it.
So, and here's the irony.
So now the people in it, the women in it, they're like, we're not chicks, and I didn't take this assignment. I didn't take this job.
Really,
because we're full of
No. But I actually disagree with you. I think marketing prior to 2017 and 18 with the Me Too movement was that, yes, and we'll use the quote unquote chicks, sarcasm, chicks. I think now they are capitalizing on the Me Too movement. they are trying to promote, and I'm not saying they're promoting an agenda, because I'm actually taking your side on this, or not your side, but your point of view that you introduced on this show. Your point of view is that this is all capitalism. They are capitalizing on this Me Too movement.
It's just capitalism.
So, I mean...
We are selling this to you. Do you want to buy it? How is it? Do you want to buy this?
But see, here's the problem,
You need a rock.
I don't think
we will sell you this rock. You do not have rock.
Right.
Have this rock.
But I don't think the public is aware of this. And I think the public now is so engorged. In fact, to the point where Annihilation did terrible at the box office.
The public doesn't think too deeply about anything, and the marketers don't understand the public. So once every now and then they get something right, they're like, "Whoa, lightning struck! It's lightning in a bottle." Yeah. No, you just were tired that week, and you didn't push your agenda. You know, your identity politics, marketing
let's say narrative.
agenda.
Let's say narrative, because I think people push the narrative. I like the term push the narrative.
I don't know if it's because it's what's the narrative? Like
the narrative right now is women are on top.
It's not a narrative though. They want to try to sell it to you as a narrative. Yeah, but it's not really a narrative. It's just like
when I say the narrative, I think I'm agreeing with you. I say they're selling something, and
they're not. They're trying to capitalize on it. They're not really selling it, because if they were selling it, Annihilation would have done great. They would have sold it.
Right,
and
that's what got me even more nervous, is the fact that Annihilation actually kind of bombed at the box office. I wonder, however, if they had created some sort of cultural zeitgeist behind it. With Me Too, if it would have done really well at the box office. So it actually hurts to hear this, because then I think to myself, I want it to be normalized. I want to stop reading about how this is groundbreaking and this is amazing and how we need more of this and it's so much better, because to me it comes off as self-righteous.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with everything. We're getting to the point where, I don't know, supposedly the math doesn't support this, but everybody's starting to freak out because of representation. Everything it needs to be represented. So what's basically happening, theoretically, is that white money is not enough. All these companies have expanded to such a point, where it is not sustainable on just the white demographic to pay it. Right? So now they need to cater to everyone as much as possible, which is why everybody's been asking for representation since like the 20s, right? People are actually listening now because it's like, well, we need their money, so we gotta pay attention to it, okay? So the problem is it's still run primarily by white people and in that white men. Okay. Right? And white men
are always the problem, aren't they?
Then I'm not saying it's a problem. Okay. I'm saying
you did. You said the problem is white men.
No, I'm explaining what the problem is. You're cutting me off and trying to make it a controversy while I'm trying to get out of controversy.
I'm merely quoting exactly what you said.
You're screwing the whole demographic up.
I'm quoting exactly what you said.
No, you cut me off. You're quoting half of what I said.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm quite aware of what's going on today, buddy.
Your words.
All right, so
back to you.
Okay, so basically the issue is that these marketers and this system, this establishment and how it works, still sees everyone else, including women, as a charity. The inclusion of everyone else as charitable. And once they change that mentality, they'll change their marketing profile.
Do you guys agree? I'd love to hear some comments out there. Is that how you think modern Hollywood views diversity, feminism, or do you think
it's like a novelty to them? It's like, ooh, check it out. We've got jewels, and this one has peanuts. You know?
We'll answer the question, and we'll go deeper into Jessica Jones Season 2 when we come back. That might have been the best thing you've ever said, period. Like on the show. I mean, we're not even talking about like your opinions, they're okay. Segue, boom. Yeah. That's where the money's made, my man.
You know what? Now I'm going to end every sentence with boom. Boom. And that's what I do.
Exactly.
Boom.
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 All right. That's enough. That's old already. This show doesn't work when we agree.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every week. Rain or shine.
Week.
Usually Wednesday night, but today we're doing Thursday afternoon.
We can't really say rain or shine since we literally weren't here because there was no shine.
But there was no rain either.
Oh, okay. So we need to put snow in the clause.
I got you.
I got you.
If you are streaming us on Facebook, we appreciate it. Brian Everham made it out here, which is very good. And it's always nice to see.
He's good people.
We want to get your thoughts on a couple different things now. We were talking about some controversial things because controversy sells. That in and of itself, right, is also what gets me kind of like, it makes me uneasy, right? Like, I want to quit social media, except
that's why I'm saying like marketing in general is so disingenuous. You can't really listen to what marketers say about the industry, about this breakthrough. They're like,
but I
just conveniently forget things. They were like Black Panther, the first black superhero, and like what
I
about
disagree
Blade?
with you though that the heart of marketing is all white men. Still, I don't think that's the case at all. I think women especially are they are just as cognizant of the trends that people are on social media. So, in case you're just joining us now, we're talking about Jessica Jones season 2. We're talking about Annihilation. We're talking about all these female-driven things. And I'm saying, yes, it's great, but at the end of the day...
Well, I didn't actually say that was the problem with the marketing. I said that the marketing has that profile because most people in marketing look at diversity and the inclusion of women as a novelty, as opposed to as a standard evolution or the a genuine representation of
but I think,
the American demographic.
I think the whole point of marketing is to find a hook. An angle,
and that's the hook,
right?
And that's
so novelty and hook is a different thing, right?
Well, then that answers your question, though. That's why it's done that way,
right? And it's been done, and it's actually proven that if you do this, right? If you make this choice, this cognizant choice, to
every time I step over something, you step right in it.
Do?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. I did that on purpose.
I know. See? Show doesn't work when we agree.
I've never heard it before.
When marketers make this look, it works across the board, right? Clickbait works this way, marketing works this way. You got to have a hook, you got to have an angle. Annihilation chose not to trumpet the fact that it's 4 women in the action hero role that could have typically been a male or mixed cast, and they're suffering for it. And to me, that's like
we don't know that.
Well, okay, let me say this:
the movie could suck. We haven't seen it.
No, the movie's getting rave reviews.
No, that doesn't mean it doesn't suck.
The
Last Jedi got rave reviews.
Okay, fair enough.
Doesn't
but I
mean it doesn't suck.
It's passing all the tests of what should be a highly successful film, and it's not, right? And you look at movies like Black Panther, right? Why was Black Panther so successful? Is it the greatest movie that's been ever made? I think it's my top 3 Marvel features. But
yeah.
What makes that different?
I've seen better movies.
But what makes that movie? What made Wonder Woman, which we both agree is less than Black Panther? What made that movie?
I think Wonder Woman and Black Panther and like Ant-Man, stuff like that and Guardians of the Galaxy also, which come into that category, have such a fail factor, such a potential fail factor. If this tanks, it will be a disaster. And so it gets hyped to the nth degree, to the point where it makes everybody who's excited for it skeptical.
Right.
Because oh my God, they're pushing this really hard. This movie can't be good. And then you go into the theater and you have a good experience. You have a decent entertainment experience, right?
Yeah.
And so you're so elated because the film and the hype kind of leveled itself out, And then it just there is a little bit of zeitgeist. There is being in the moment.
I think there's a lot of zeitgeist, though, because Wonder Woman was a success before people even set foot in the theater.
Not necessarily, because
Black Panther was a success before people even set foot in the theater.
We did a show with remember Jeff Gomez was saying that they were saying it's not that good. So there was a lot of rhetoric about whether it was good or bad, or whether it was going to be mediocre, or whether it was it was also a DC flick. So I mean, they don't have a good track record either.
Right.
So there was no guarantee that we were going to have a good experience going to see that film.
Right.
Same with Spider-Man. Spider-Man was just the opposite. So everyone was like, "Oh my God, Marvel's got Spider-Man. It's going to be great. It's going to be the greatest." And it was a good movie, but it was the reaction to it was kind of lackluster.
Well, not the dollar signs. It actually made the most money,
but it didn't have the hype
year.
behind it. Yeah, and it made the most money because it lasted longer. It outlasted, and it just made the money in the aggregate.
Yeah,
but it wasn't it wasn't a giant runaway hit. It wasn't like Spider-Man 2,
right?
You know, where it was just like kind of unilateral success. You know, and everybody loved it. And people are still saying that it's their favorite Spider-Man movie. You know, it wasn't. You know, Homecoming was a good movie, but it wasn't that movie. It wasn't that experience.
So Jessica Jones, this is how we kind of started the show off.
Subject change.
No, not subject change. We're going
focus
back
change.
into it.
We're having a focal change.
No, yeah, we're bringing back because it's International Women's Day, right?
Yeah.
Jessica Jones lets women rule the world again in second season.
Who wrote that though?
Daily News, female writer.
Okay.
Returning for a second season with a third already in the works, the dark, gritty Netflix drama based on Brian Michael Bendis's, short little white dude, Marvel character moves backward almost as often as it moves forward, while Jessica battles a new nemesis and struggles to figure out her past. Best friend, former child star sidekick Trish Walker tries to leverage her own history to change the future. Walker's storyline finds her tracking down a producer from her childhood in a plot straight out of Hollywood's Me Too movement, except it was filmed months before Harvey Weinstein's downfall. The truth is that all these issues that we've been dealing with, #MeToo, these are things that those of us who are telling stories have been telling these stories. Rosenberg told the Daily News. That sentence was nonsensical.
Yes, it was. I'm like, are you reading that wrong? Or am I having a stroke? What's going on?
That is a failure.
I smell burning metal.
Quote correctly, Melissa Rosenberg. Again, it's cashing in this Me Too movement.
Yeah, that's what
right?
I'm saying. But it's marketing. It's the same. Newspapers are sensationalism.
I almost feel obligated when I do interviews to ask the questions that I expect to see in a magazine, on a website, rather than questions I actually
controversy.
care about.
Like the question is going to get the person to
Right.
to have a reaction instead of like and I mean maybe that's your responsibility. As an interviewer, as a person who's like providing content. You have to get the red content out of it. It can't just be benign. It can't just sit still. Right. So, I mean, I don't know. There's no such thing as ethics in marketing, and
well, that's I guess what it comes down to, right? Journalism is now marketing, isn't it?
Some of it is,
right?
Like the
competition has
what
created...
passes for journalism today, and they're trying to curtail that because it's a big problem.
Yes,
it's turning into a really serious problem.
Right, like presidential elections.
Yes,
kind of get altered with all that too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, we picked Thursday afternoon to get a little political today. That's good. I like this.
You're getting
political. I like it. Well, it's International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, not me.
I'll also say this though.
I'm not following
you
down that rabbit hole.
As a white male who is now the enemy. We're the enemy, even though I come
as long as you said it.
I come from Italian and Polish descent, and my family was immigrants.
Hey, I read it in a book somewhere, man. I didn't make that up myself.
What's that? You read it in a book?
I read it in a book somewhere. These guys are bad guys,
right? I got nothing. Let's go to commercial. No.
As a white man, and
as a white
the enemy.
male who actually, again, kind of gets grouped together now into this.
What a shame!
Misogynist thing.
That's a terrible thing for you.
Well, but you're also under fire too now as a male. I mean, as a male, you're under fire
black
as well.
male, so
you do have a little bit of
it's a little bit of
yeah, because that's the narrative people are selling. And as long as people recognize this, right?
Look, the bottom line is as things kind of even out, everybody understands. Wait a minute, this whole game is bent. The game's been bent forever. It's just that some people don't notice it. So a lot of guys don't notice how bent the game is for women.
Yeah.
A lot of white guys don't know how bent the game is for minorities.
However, do you also think though that there are certain advantages to being a woman, let's say, that you don't have if you're a male? There are certain advantages that you might have.
I would say that at this point, if you're looking at it from a strictly general basis, right? If you're taking,
I'm not talking about like societal. I'm talking about again just in the entertainment industry.
If you're taking it from a general point of view, from a general standpoint, without any kind of political or agenda kind of motivations, I would say that women and minorities get a benefit of the doubt. A better benefit of the doubt.
In 2018. In 2017, 2018?
Yeah.
Because I think it's a new phenomenon. I think the 2000s, people were too busy worrying about the war and terrorism and then that pesky economy collapsed.
There's a lot of iniquity.
Katrina hit, right?
There's a lot of iniquity, and a lot of the equity has all been going into one direction.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the unilateral condemnation of an entire group of people.
Yeah.
I don't know the solution to it.
Yeah.
Because the problem needs to be addressed, and the problem is nobody's really wants to address the problem.
Isn't that the problem? The problem is not that no one wants to address it, is that they're all trying to address it through things that are meant to merely sell you something.
Because we can't ever really have a decent conversation about it without everybody getting...
What's conversation actually even do, though?
Because we can't have a decent conversation about it without being interrupted or without everybody becoming offensive or defensive.
You got me there. You got me there.
I know.
All right, when we come back...
Did it again, now.
We're going to talk to Josh Blaylock, Devil's Due.
Good, because I don't want to talk about this
I think. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Jessica Jones. Is it going to be any good? Because, Hassan, you've actually seen a couple episodes now, and so we'll actually dive into the content. Yay.
Yes.
Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Get your happy hour on. Mm-hmm. Secrets of the Sire coming back. Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com. I love the emotional affairs.
That's awesome.
I'm having an emotional affair with you.
I have
every
emotional
week.
affairs all the time.
I know.
Yeah. I didn't think that was an actual insult to other people, but
well, you're not cheating on somebody.
Well, if you can do that emotionally, I'm cheating on you right now.
This is
because I'm thinking about someone else.
You're thinking about Peter. Hi, Peter.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire special Thursday edition. This is a happy hour edition. You guys, you're about to get off work in about a half an hour. It's Thursday, which was always my favorite day. College day was always Thursday day. Thursday night was like college night. That was the way to do it.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, we got nothing but good memories for a Thursday. But we're talking about some deep stuff. Let's get into a little non-deep stuff while we await Mr. Blaylock calling in as well to talk about Devil's Due Comics. Let's just give me your take on the on the first two episodes. This is spoilery, non-spoilery for anybody who.
First of all, I was dead wrong about it. I had heard somewhere that it was only 8 episodes, but it's actually 13. Another 13.
I don't like
episodes.
13 on Netflix. Let's talk about that. I hate the fact on Netflix is 13 episodes and 15.
I don't know if this season will manage to do it correctly. The first 2 episodes are packed full of stuff. A lot happens in those first 2 hours.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh my god, there's 11 episodes to go. So if the whole show is consistent like that, it'll be a good show.
Right.
People are talking about, or people are already complaining about pacing issues and other stuff like that. So who knows? But I always listen to those people because a lot of people complain about Stranger Things too, and I thought that was actually a pretty decent season. So
I think it was good, except we talked about Stranger Things 2 in our episode 2 of Paul Reiser, but the pacing was one thing. I thought it was slow, but I also thought, when you come in with an original idea, it's very, very difficult to top that original idea. But
that's the thing. I'm already sold on the idea. I don't need you to resell me a whole new idea. If I come back to season 2, I'm already sold from season 1.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to hit the strike lightning again. They just had to keep the momentum going.
Right,
and
but
I thought they did
but
that.
I think there's, it's funny when we're both writers and we do comics. In fact, the mainstream coming out April 11th from Zenescope.
Marketing
it's written
from
by
a white
me
guy. White
and
guy
Talent
marketing.
Well, actually, you'll love the fact that the mainstream team is a white guy, a half Korean guy.
Oh, hedging your bets.
Total 100%. Well, actually, he might not be 100%, but he is of 100% Asian descent. We'll do that because he's probably a mix of some kind. I don't want to pigeonhole him. And Darren Sanchez, who is
see, but you see what you're doing.
The only thing we didn't do. Well, I don't want to end up like Annihilation. I want the mainstream to do gangbusters when it comes out.
You want the mainstream to do well in the mainstream.
Yeah, when mainstream comes out in April from Zenescope, I want it to be awesome. So check out our diverse cast of creators on the mainstream. No women.
I'm going to take a nap.
Sam, don't give that.
Well, they were women, but we harassed them and they all left.
All right, we're going to welcome our guest right now. He is Mr. Josh Blaylock. We are very excited. He is from Devil's Due Comics. Mr. Blaylock, are you there, sir?
I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Very excited to have you on, too. I got your press release last month, and I immediately was like, this is really cool. I want to have Josh on. I haven't actually formally... I think I met you in the Wizard days way back in the day, but, but I was like, I want to find out what's going on here and what's up with Devil's Due Comics, because I thought, wait, Devil's Due... They make comics. So what's the big announcement and what's the differentiation between what you were doing before and what you guys are doing now?
Well, all of our books, like we've been putting out a bunch of different creator-owned series for the last several years, and those are still there. So I mean, that all the great stuff that's been coming out is still continuing. But I felt it was time for like a little bit of a rebranding, kind of like to really embrace, going from the Devil Do Entertainment to Devil Do Comics.
Okay.
Because, that's what we are. We're a comic book company.
Yeah.
And, but also, the industry has changed drastically in the last few years. So many more creators coming in, such a much more diverse array of talent. And the readership is completely, changed for the better, I think. Just all kinds of new people coming in. And, there's a lot of... there's a whole other category of creators out there now who really, they're out there hustling, at the Comic-Cons now. Well, now there's 100 Comic-Cons across the country, right?
You could trip over a Comic-Con now.
Yeah, you can.
All these people building up really strong regional followings, and, they got great social media presence, and, they don't really need a publisher the way a publisher used to be a gatekeeper, and that's just not the case anymore, we haven't been that for a long time. So the new focus is really just providing a lot of these creators what they need, just the infrastructure they need to plug into for us to be a megaphone for them. They can just get out there and do what they want to do.
That's exciting to me, what you just said, too, because I had a book published at Image a couple years ago, and I just remember going in and I'm thinking, okay, great, I got the big Image eye on my book, and they're gonna do this, and they're going to do that. And Jim Valentino, to his credit, did set up a few interviews for me. But they're sitting there going like, no, it's still up to you to go out there and make the most noise.
Right.
And I almost feel like, okay, then why didn't I just do this myself if that was the case, right?
And that's the dirty secret in comics, and that's not that's not singling Image out. That's
right.
The reality is, most indie publishers, they just sign you up and that's what they do. They don't, and when we really get our hands, dirty working on the motor, under the hood. It's trying to not have that go the wrong way.
No, it's better for the show if it does.
Marketing, bad marketing.
So
we're small. We have to have something that differentiates us. And one of the things that I think we do differently than anyone has was, for a long time, we got really involved with interweaving Kickstarter right into the actual traditional publishing. So, we would coordinate, certain books, when to launch Kickstarter campaigns for them, for newer creators and newer titles, and center all of that around the timing would work out so that we were getting press for it and getting, using that to get buzz, and then that right as soon as that ended, boom, like the ad appears in the comic book catalog for the retailers to order. So people see that, orders come in, we set our print runs, and now you've got this holistic approach to an indie publishing, platform that is really beneficial. But that requires just a lot of work, and we wanted the freedom to be able to say, okay, certain things we just can't do with all. Certain books we will do that when they make sense, and others might have a very traditional deal. This doesn't mean we won't ever do a licensed property again or something like that, but it's just to say, hey, we get what the landscape's like, and if you're kind of if you're like a go-getter that pretty much has your own whole operation running, you just need that one extra thing to get you truly legitimized into the system, into all of the stores, and maybe you're hitting like 10 conventions around your region, but now you plug into our network, which is going to make it easier for you to get access to more conventions, and you get plugged into our email blast that we send to fans and to retailers, and now just like stuff that other publishers do is just very transparent, and we're providing some back-end tech help too that helps them manage some of this stuff and help take charge of it. And
this all sounds too good to be true.
Hey, in return, like you get a much simpler deal structure. Like I don't want to get into all the details.
No, you don't have to.
The royalties are much simpler. It really is incentivized. It's kind of weird. It's kind of very libertarian in a way. It's like a very Ayn Rand publishing. It's like
hot
people
take.
are liking it. Like it's a void. Because right now we have a glut of too much good stuff. I don't know if I can say SHIT on here.
Sure you can.
Well, we have a glut of too much good content out there. It's a problem with television and everything else too.
It's a unique complaint.
No, it's true.
Stuff is too good.
It's true.
No, I agree, but it is a unique complaint.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean,
it's weird to have to complain about that.
You know what? It's harder to rise. It's harder to stand out now.
No,
it's where
not
everybody
enough to just put out a good book.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree 100%.
And a lot of people, creative people, are kind of shy and don't like it. I actually have an aversion to promotion. A lot of people feel like, hey, if I'm pushing this, I don't know about that. I don't want to. Yeah, it just goes with the territory. And I myself am like a weird mix of that too. I'm really gregarious and a social butterfly who's very bad at small talk.
Well, you're an artist too. I mean, that's So how did you kind of transform into being comic book publisher? And do you love both? Do you kind of tolerate being a publisher and you want to be an artist, or do you enjoy being the publishing, doing the publishing end as well?
It's just like the struggle. It's the indie struggle. I did all that out of just necessity, just being a kid and really just desperately wanting to be in comics since I was, I've been drawing my whole life, wanted to have an animation career when I was really little, and when I was about 12, 13, wanted to get into comics. By the time I was 18, I had almost been published a couple times by some really crappy 90s publishers,
I know that
and
story.
I just ended up, self-publishing. So I got a couple ads in Diamond Ink, back then Capital, which is another distributor back then.
Wow.
Put out a mini series and started going to conventions in my $400 Volkswagen Rabbit, and fell into a day job that taught me about licensing and had some success there with spearheading a lot of 80s retro stuff. So back when you saw, if anyone's that old, like in like the late 90s, when you saw like Hot Topic and Gadzooks start to get a bunch of like 80s cartoon T-shirts and stuff, like for the first time, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Ninja Turtles, and Voltron, and all those. I was heavily involved in that.
Cool.
And then learned about licensing and said, well, I'm, last couple of years, I've been publishing all these black and white books and, just trying to slowly climb the ladder in the comic world. And like, wait a minute, I could use licensing to get into comics. And that was kind of it. Somehow, you know.
And now here you are.
Dark magic and yeah, like.
So you have a book coming out on Bitcoin too.
Yeah. Go from the 90s way into the current future.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Bitcoin comic handbook, and it's just a guide to what I think is world-changing technology, so far beyond the applications of money. I actually start off the book sort of listing all of the things that are going to be affected, or just a handful of major things will be affected, like, you know, voting and, you know, data storage and communication and everything, and digital media. So it's a book partially as like selfishly made because I just got to get all this stuff out of my head. I've been obsessed with it for years now, but it's like it gives someone, you know, a 20-30 minute read to wrap their head around cryptocurrency and what the hell Bitcoin is. And you know, it's not for the person who wants to really dive in super deep and know every single aspect of it. It's just to like finally answer the question, like, what the heck is the big deal about this thing? Why won't everyone shut up about it? For that person that wants that answer, and hopefully be a little entertained while they read it.
Very cool. All right, 30 seconds. Tell everyone where they can find you on social media, and how can people kind of get involved with Devils Do Comics if they would like to?
Go to devilsdo.net. We're going to be opening up our submission platform in the near future. Right now, we have a lot of cool stuff lined up. Final Street is a homage to 80s, 90s side-scrolling punch-em-up games by Scott Schmidt and Brian Atkins, coming out in June. Little Girl is a horror series by Pat Shand and Olivia Palateas. Horror miniseries. He's killing it right now. Yeah. Talk about someone who was really...
Don't get us started on that. That guy's making us all look like we're standing still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's Quicksilver and you're like the slow motion and you're just like moving around.
I'm the guy trying to make the soup in the background.
I'm writing TV pilots, I'm writing a comic book series, and I'm hosting a podcast, and I still feel like I'm doing nothing compared to what Pat Shand is doing. It's like, no, I got nothing. Yeah. I got nothing in the tank. Josh, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you. What's the next convention you're going to be at?
C2E2.
Then I will see you and I will buy you a beer because we'll be there as well.
And we're going to have a party Saturday night 2 blocks away at Motor Road Brewing. We're taking over the whole place. You guys are invited.
Awesome.
Talk to you then.
We will see you then. Josh, thank you so much. DevilsDo.net. When we come back, we'll go spinning the racks. The superpower you wish you had?
Teleportation.
Ooh. There you go.
I always go flight. I'm always like, I want to fly.
You teleport, you don't need to fly.
Right.
You'd never be late for work.
That's what you would do. This is why you're the co-host of a middling podcast, because you don't dream big enough.
Because I can't teleport. If I could teleport, you think I would be sitting here right now?
You'd be on time.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We're doing this on a Thursday afternoon. We normally do Wednesdays, and it shows.
Yeah, I need my beer.
But I want to thank Josh Blaylock for coming on to explaining a little bit more about Devils Do Comics. Definitely going to have a beer with him at C2E2. It's going to be very exciting. That was one of our favorite drops we've ever done, too. That's with Christina Anapau. And she'll be joining us again March 28th. She'll be calling back in. She's got a new movie out. She's going to do a little promotion for that, and we love to talk to her.
Where she will have admitted that after some consideration, teleportation is a better power.
I don't think she was disagreeing that teleportation was bad. I think that your applications of teleportation were just not. I mean, they were just very low on the totem pole here.
Well, give it a little time. You can find a lot of uses for teleporting.
Secret of the Sire is brought to you by all of our beloved patrons. We have dedicated fans: Einar Peterson, Matt Byer, Ashley Haikai, our program director Stephanie Dolce, our executive producer Steve Hovecki, Brian Phillips, and Christina Gillen, and as always, our Uber fan Christina Dolce. I just wanted to give them a shout out because I forgot to. And Einar Peterson's on the. He's actually on the feed
decent
now
thing to do
because I think he's in Sweden So the time difference, 4 o'clock is like his...
It's working for him.
Is his like,
right,
yeah.
right,
so
yeah.
he, so we got some cool stuff that he sent over to the show as well too. We're going to show it off a little next week as well too. We have Pat Shand in studio next week. We have Matthew Rosenberg also calling in.
That guy's coming to the studio
Pat
next
Shand's
week?
coming in next week, so we'll be
Where does he find the time
camera.
to be here?
I know he's got his own podcast too, which he stole from us. All right, let's
he did.
be
He
clear.
said.
We're stealing everything else.
We haven't guessed
from
it on
him.
that yet. So what's up with that?
He said we're allowed to as long as we just come out to Long Island. Who the hell wants to go to Long Island?
No, nobody.
I know, that's what I said to him.
I don't ever go out there.
So
If
we
at
do
all
this
avoidable.
every week. We go spinning the racks, bringing the most fantastical pop culture news out there.
Just bold.
This is hot news, like right off the...
I better think so. I better hear this and go, wow, you know what, Mike? That's
Yeah.
some hot news.
No, this is it. Oh, yeah. This is like triple hot news right there.
Okay.
No, Star Wars news, just for you.
What?
It has
There
been
is
announced.
No such thing as Star Wars news.
Lucasfilm is excited to announce that Jon Favreau has signed on to executive produce and write a live-action Star Wars series.
Oh my god. Which one? Is it
How many Star Wars now? Again,
Yeah, because
there's not a lot of
Benioff
information
and Weiss
here.
are doing one. They still have Ryan Johnson doing his 3.
I know. Are they going to just? They're going to run out of like time to actually do this, right?
I don't know. They've got plans going all the way 100 years into the future, I guess. I don't know.
I guess
We're going to get
so.
Star Wars until we're like 60.
Yeah, I know.
Every year.
It's
Every year.
it's really a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we got
Dessert for
Solo. We
breakfast.
got the Solo
Dessert for
movie coming
breakfast.
out. We got.
Yeah.
I know. It's like.
Well, after Solo, it's going to be about maybe a year and a half or something. Yeah, a little bit. About a year and a half before we get another Star Wars movie. And
No,
we don't have a...
No, it's coming out the next May after 2019.
No,
I thought
they pushed it back
Oh, they
to-
did push
to
it to December
December,
now
yeah,
because
after-
J.J. Abrams is just
Yeah,
he just finished
he's a
writing it.
lazy ass, and he's like, nah.
Well, it's also not his fault. He's like, oh crap, we fired the guy that was working on this because he objected
I think
to
he
the fact that
literally
Luke
stopped
Skywalker.
and said, oh, crap.
Well, I think he did because he's like, yeah, we fired the guy because he objected to the fact that Luke Skywalker dies. Sorry, spoilers. At the end of the last movie, so we have to get rid of them.
That's a theory. That's
And
only a theory.
and now he's like, oh, and now I'm taking over, so I better write something, Yeah.
Where I bring Luke Skywalker back to life.
Right.
Thus, making it all a moot point in the
Yeah.
first place. But we don't even have a cartoon anymore. We don't have that series on.
is true.
So for a year and a half, there's going to be no Star Wars at all.
Wow.
So it's going to be speculation fever on YouTube of everybody else like, oh, they're going to bring Snoke back, and his brother Broke is going to be there, and his and there's going to be that's nonstop. It's going to be this like, oh, I have this theory that Ezra Bridger is really going to be the real villain of. I was like, oh, I can't.
Yeah, they're really.
There's a one good thing about The Last Jedi. It was that it kind of abolished all those theories, and one of the main.
But isn't that the fun of like?
No, one of the main ideas I had was it is fun to theorize
Right.
with your friends when
Yeah.
you monetize it because you're doing YouTube hit after hit after hit.
If people didn't want it, it wouldn't be done though.
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's annoying. It's just infuriating, and the theories are bad.
Yeah.
The theories are so bad.
Yeah.
They were like the Mace Windu is Snoke because they were bald. I mean, that's one, and that got a lot
It
of traction.
connects.
That got a lot of traction.
Connect the dots, Hassan.
No, it doesn't
Connect
connect. It
the
doesn't connect.
dots.
Now you can stop. Now you can stop. Sorry.
It makes total sense.
No, it doesn't.
And he's
No, it
totally
doesn't.
pissed at Anakin?
No.
Oh my god, Snoke was at Mace Windu the whole time!
Right. Why didn't that happen? Why didn't
Spoilers.
Ryan Johnson do it?
Because he was too busy with the women in the
Yeah,
movie.
he was too busy crapping all over Luke Skywalker. But that's just my opinion. I'm okay.
So, we have been talking about the monetization of feminism. We've been talking about the capitalization
I don't
of
know
our
if we've been talking about the
favorite-
monetization of feminism. I thought we were talking about the marketing of feminism,
Which is to monetize
in
the end
attempts
goal.
to monetize, but we're already talking about certain aspects of it have been failures, in which case it didn't monetize. Like
Sure.
Annihilation was not monetized.
So we've been talking about some negative things, is I guess my point, right? We've been talking about like the
I don't
negative
know what
side
we've
of
been
things.
talking about, to be honest with you.
Tom Martin.
We've been talking about
terrific-
stuff to get us into trouble.
Tom
That's what
Martin
we've
from
been-
Tom Martin Media, fan of the
imagine
show.
that.
Fan of the show.
How did he swindle that in?
Now he actually chimed in with some good news.
Oh, okay.
And I figured we'd end the show on a high note.
Do it.
Right?
Let's do it.
I'm actually not being sarcastic. I was giving you the sarcastic face, but I don't.
Yeah,
need to.
I know.
Photographer snaps cancer-stricken kids as superheroes. Pictures take off.
I've seen that.
Did you see those things?
I've seen that. It's awesome as heck.
It really is, though, and it's like it's good to actually say some good things for once. Josh Rosie photographed superheroes in one session. He got Superman to stand still long enough for his red cape to artfully billow. This man of steel, in quotes, actually a determined 9-year-old with a life-threatening heart defect, is indeed more powerful than a locomotive. So I don't mean to actually make anybody sad. These were actually really cool photos.
It is a little heartbreaking.
Oh, God,
but it's heartbreaking not because of what's happened, but just how brave the kids are, you know, and how awesome they look, you know, in their moment.
They are so excited. Like if you go see this article, it's on CNN. It's a photo of one of the children, and he's standing next to a poster of him as Batman.
Yeah,
like it's awesome.
Yeah,
so you know what? In a world full of crap, at least we can clickbait or at least promote things that are clickbaitable that are positive and good things. So cheers to Josh Rosie, the photographer, for doing this. Cheers to Tom Martin for sending it over and for getting us Christina Anapau in 2 weeks, which is great. He's responsible for that.
Trifecta.
So. Yeah, so good stuff. All right, I figured we would save the last minute of the show to announce that our March Movie Madness is back starting next week. That's what we got. We got 2 guests next week. We got Matthew Rosenberg, who's writing New Mutants and the new recently announced X Factor miniseries, which is going to herald the return of the Multiple Man. He's going to be calling in. Pat Shan's going to be in studio.
Wow.
The subject. So start chiming in now. I want feedback. We're going to narrow our
You're going to have to remind them,
our
though.
field down. Best comic book movie sequels. Can only be a sequel.
Oh my God.
Can only be a sequel.
Best comic. All right, I got one. I already have mine.
And we will pit them against each other in a bracket, and we'll determine how many we get. We'll get 8, maybe 16. Maybe we'll get 64. I don't want 64. Maybe we'll get 8. We're going to pit them against, and we're going to announce it. So that is our show next week. So start chiming in.
Which next week will come a day quicker.
It is. I know.
That's very strange.
We're going to go have some beers now.
Because
our show's over, and it's 5 o'clock.
Because we totally can.
This was totally weird. This has been Secrets of the Sire. We will see you next week.